Hey guys, Ted Bogert here. We are back with one of my favorite shows, especially in this industry, InvestorYOU, where we talk about all things investing. It doesn't just have to be real property. It could be businesses. It could be startups. It could be pretty much anything y'all want to talk about. But we have been focusing on investors in the real estate world. My co-host with the most, the one and only Derek Carmichael here. He's with me. He does private money, hard money, whatever you want to call it. He does it really, really well. He's also a broker, and he works on all ends of this crazy world. And then we are bringing on today our guest, one of my closest friends, my older sister. She, I have to say, Kat Brower, the one and only amazing Kat Brower with Mortgagee Title. So, welcome, y'all. How you doing today?
Good. Super good, actually.
I like super good.
Yeah.
Super good. I like
don't know
that.
why. I just woke up this morning feeling like I'm about to take over the world.
Thank God. Take me along. I'm counting on both of you to make enough money so I can stop working.
We're bringing Kat. I like that shirt, Kat. I'm going to tell you.
I know. The shirt's awesome.
Fly, dude.
Are you talking about my shirt?
Yeah, you're the only Cat.
Oh, I didn't hear the cat. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's a little fall, so I thought I'd bring out the fall colors.
I see it.
Fall
My
glasses.
sisters have taught me well, so I recognize even the looks like even your glasses match the outfit.
Yep. Oh,
That's
you
swag,
guys.
bro. That's
I'm
swag,
competing with
man.
Ted, so
I'm not that coordinated.
Hey, she's got it.
I have to have game.
Yeah. Speaking of game, Derek, let's talk a little bit about you. Introduce yourself for those who don't know you, and then we'll take a deep dive with Kat into it.
Yes, sir. Derek Carmichael, everyone. Real estate broker, hard money broker, investor, dad, friend, believer, all around guy. Homegrown Orlando, Florida guy. Go Noles. Go Dolphins. Go Magic.
Go Noles.
Yeah, man. Come on, baby.
Painful.
What are you talking about?
I'm kidding with you. I'm a UCF guy, so I am basically Switzerland in this whole thing.
My boy said they had a good game this past Saturday.
So they tell me. I don't know much about the foosball, but whatever.
Oh, listen, Derek, I try to tell him all the time about football. Ugh.
Yeah, Ted special.
On so many levels.
I give Ted a pass. That's my man. That's good.
I love it. All right, Kat Brower. So for those of you who don't know Kat Brower, she has been in the industry for, I'll let her tell you. Yeah. She's with Mortgagee Title and has been their point person, the face of Mortgagee Title for as long as I can remember. Welcome, Kat, to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's very exciting. I was a little nervous at first, as I told Ted, but I have been doing it a long time, so I'm sure there's some knowledge in this brain of mine left.
You have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge. So give them the story of you. Tell them a little bit about you and your background.
Okay, so I am the director of business development at Mortgagee Title. I believe I've been doing this about 24, 25 years with the same company. Very proud of that. Yeah. And prior to that, I actually worked in the law field. I was a paralegal for about 15 years. So, I mean, don't add that up age-wise, but, so my background was in real estate, probate, things like that. I was on the board of directors for the Orlando Regional Realtor Association for 4 years. So know a lot about that. And I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother, which is
Congrats.
So yay. Yes.
Awesome.
And I am a Gator fan.
Yeah, Gators.
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
I'm out. Where's the exit button?
It's going to be a rough year. I already know that, Derek.
Yeah. Well, at least we're all Florida fans. Florida sometimes.
My kids went to Seminole, so Florida State. So there's a little bit of liking, but not much.
No. And her husband likes Florida State. I don't know if that's
that's a fun household. That's always good.
Oh, I don't know how we're about to hit 40 years. It's been up and down.
Oh, wow. That's too funny.
I love it. All right. So let's talk about investors. So Derek, I'll start with you, and then I want to get some insights from Kat on the title side. What are you seeing right now? Let's talk about the current way of the world, and then let's talk a little bit about some of the myths. We talked about this a little bit last week about investors and what you need, and the interest rate is so disparate, different, and all of that good stuff. Kind of give them a recap and tell them what's happening.
Absolutely. Definitely a recap from last show. We're seeing a lot of build to sell. I'm actually shooting down south tomorrow morning for a call with the builder. I think he's doing 500 doors and he's looking for some alternative financing. He does build to sell. So you guys pray for me. I hope that goes well. We're seeing a lot of that. And then again, I'm still seeing a lot of folks that want to get into a strategy, which may be fix and flip and then refining over and buy and hold. Fix and flip still happen. I was analyzing some deals this weekend. I'm still seeing them, but where I'm feeding my children right now, the refis, still kind of going strong. I think a lot of folks are also kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. I mean, we have the Fed that needs to adjust some rates. We have people that, want to see what's going to happen with that particular part of it. I think by November, December, we'll see some changes. And hopefully the rates will start going down and we'll see some more activity.
Would it be nice if the rates go down? But just for the record, y'all, the rates aren't going down to 2%. So when you're out educating your buyers, even your sellers that want to sell and buy, I hear it a lot. Hey, just the rates are going to go down. You can refi. Well, yeah, they might go down, but they're not going to be 2 and 3% like they were a while back. That's what's in everybody's head.
Yeah,
they all think that's when you say go down, that's what they think, and we have to do a better job in our industry of educating them. All right, Kat, from your perspective, you've been doing this for, I said 30 years, so 24 is good.
Nothing. So yes. Say 30. It's
still a lot.
Yeah,
so you have a lot of experience. Talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the world of title and investor kind of clients.
I've actually seen more on the investor side recently, which is a little surprising because of the way the market is, but and it's generally a lot of the LLCs. We're getting in LLCs left and right.
Yeah.
So the investor side has picked up as far as what I'm seeing. The refis a little bit, but I don't know if Derek was talking about refis with the investors, as an LLC or what, but it's a little bit, but investor traffic's moving.
Yeah, Kat, I want to piggyback. So to be clear, yes, I'm talking the LLCs because everything that Ted and I do on the hard money space is always going to be business to business. So it's going to be investor. And people have to understand something. When the markets get crazy, investors get excited. So you're going to see the private, I guess your traditional lending kind of slow down, but you're going to see guys like us on the hard money space picking up because investors say, wow, now I can pick this property up for low. They can go in and negotiate something. Also subject to. I think subject to is going to be around for the next long time. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for subject to. I get a lot of calls. Do I fund, certain particular parts of a subject to transaction, which I don't, because I need to be able to get my money back fast, right? I want to be able to loan that $40,000, or if you're looking for that gap funding, I need that back ASAP. A lot of the times, the subject twos don't want to do that; they want to hold on to it.
Yeah.
But it's always going to typically be an LLC situation if they're dealing with hard money.
So I have two questions. First, define really quick for people who don't know what a subject to is, what a subject to is, Derek.
Man. So a lot of these savvy investors are going in and they're structuring deals where maybe the seller's in a distressed situation, but they have an awesome rate. They got in at the 2s and the 3% rates, and they don't want to do a refi. They need to figure something out with their mortgage. When a guy like Ted or myself or another investor or Cat will come and say, hey, I'll give you $40,000 today. You can kick rocks. I'll even help you even move. But I will assume your mortgage, or I will buy this property subject to the mortgage, and we'll keep it going, and we'll rent it out, and we'll fix it up, and we'll do all kinds of awesome stuff with it, and they'll add it to their portfolio. But essentially, they're just taking over the mortgage, and they're holding the rate low and able to get the family out of there. And it gets tricky. You need to get an attorney to help you out with those subject twos because you have to do the paperwork right. There's a certain point, and I believe it's the insurance that you have to do correctly, or you can blow up the whole deal. So it's advantageous. Go look into it, but get with someone who specializes in it. And I think you have something coming up a show.
I just did an event with John Chin. It was a subject to event. Fascinating. I mean, really, it's interesting, but you need to make sure that the person you're working with understands what a subject to is.
Understand it, yeah.
And like Derek said, and I know Kat will back it up, an attorney, an attorney, an attorney. You need
Yes, that's what I was going to say about the subject too. Although, I mean, I do know what they are and how they are to be done. I always refer to an attorney or a closing agency that is attorney based. You know, one or the other, strictly attorney, and I have no problems giving that referral out, because otherwise, like Derek said, there's a big old chance it's not going to happen. So why risk it, right?
Yes. You don't want to get in trouble messing with that stuff.
No, not at all.
Kat, I have a question on the LLC.
Yeah.
Talk about, is it different? Is it different for title when you have an LLC versus an individual?
Good question.
Not really. A limited liability company is just, you know, individuals that form this corporation for their protection. Really, the only difference that I see are a couple of things. As far as what we would require on a limited liability company, LLC, we would need their articles of organization. We would need their operating agreement, and we would need a resolution. So those are documents that we verify. Who is the managing member? Who has authorization to sign? And does the LLC have authorization to sell? So, right? I mean,
that's a good one.
That's critical.
First and foremost. Okay.
So other than that, it's pretty standard, except the lending side, like Derek said, for the most part, it's not your traditional lenders that are doing these.
Correct. Yeah, and I was going to ask you both, from your experience, you know, we've got an interesting, in my opinion, insurance crisis, especially here in Florida. Have you had any difficulty, if you're working on an LLC closing, getting the insurance for the closing, or because there's mostly investors, if there's no mortgage, do you require it, Derek? I guess that's my first question. Yeah. And then let's talk about how, if you're finding any kind of issues getting the insurance.
Absolutely require insurance, especially for loaning on it. So there's still a lender in place, and that lender wants to be protected. We're not asking for anything outrageous. It's not a crazy insurance policy, but you need to make sure, if it's a fix and flip, you're going to do a builder's risk. And we're going to want to make sure that the value of the home is covered if something were to happen. You know, we had that crazy storm last night. If you're in Orlando, you saw that crazy. For me, man, it was crazy, right? If lightning hit that thing and your home caught fire, you just want to make sure, hey, you can get paid out and rebuild, or just take the money and go, right? Everything's covered. I haven't had, you know, I've been blessed to do some transactions this year. I haven't had any holdups with insurance. Now, I have a great insurance team that I work with, and I know that, you know, when the storms were kind of coming through, everyone's, hey, if you need something, bound, let's get it done now. You know, let's get on top of it. But I think it's been pretty safe. My flip that I have in Orlando that I'm working on, that's a whole show in itself. I had to put a roof on it, and I did find out I didn't have to do that to get the insurance. I thought I did, because I was kind of mixing the retail with the investor space. And I did that cash, so there's no loan on that. That's a cash transaction that we did. But I still recommend, man, getting insurance. But I haven't had any issues. Even on my retail stuff, I haven't had any issues at this time with insurance.
That's good to know, because honestly, I know a lot of it, of course, is rates. People are having trouble because the rates just quadrupled, plus. Back in the day when I owned the insurance agencies, I remember LLCs were more difficult to get insured. There weren't a lot of traditional markets that wanted to handle them. But I'm glad that you guys shared that, because I think a lot of people are like, oh God, I can't even barely get insurance in my own name. How am I going to get it in an LLC's name? You know,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Kind of related to the insurance, but the LLC, it used to be too, these LLCs would come in, and a lot of times they couldn't close it as an LLC with the older traditional lenders. They would have to put it in their individual names, and then afterwards put it back in an LLC. So that's definitely a change, because there are more lenders that are willing to do these LLC transactions.
Well, they had to get with the times. I mean, the lenders have been fighting that. And I understand from a liability perspective and all of that good stuff. You got a corporation involved, and then you're not suing an individual. You have to hit the corporation first. And it's much harder to sue a corporation than it is to sue an individual. And there's just all sorts of things that could happen. But
sorry, Ted. Some of the nuances to when these guys are lending money, or when we lend money, if it's a private lending situation that could be, that we could be doing, I don't think a lot of folks even understand how the lenders protect themselves. You go through the typical things, but at the same time, I know some of my hedge funds will require a full pledge of shares. So they own that company, right? They're taking hold. And from what I understand, I did look into it, and one of my mentors explained it to me, is it's supposed to make it easier if you have to take it back when you have the pledge of shares clause in there. It's something that even as I learn to privately lend, I want to make sure I do a pledge of shares. So Cat is free to go, but because I have a pledge of shares on this company, it makes it easier for me to take this thing back without all of the legal litigation. I think it kind of helps sidestep some of that stuff. So with that being said, it's easier for a lender to say, hey, I mean, we can get 8, 10, 9, 12% on this 150K for 3 to 6, maybe 12 months. And if something goes sideways, we can take this property back and finish it ourselves, and or call somebody up and offload that property. Another investor can buy it, finish it off, and we all are still happy. So there's ways that they kind of have learned to mitigate their risk. And so I think they're more open to some of those things.
That's good. Hey, that's really good, actually. I want to ask you both this question because I actually got asked this question, Derek, about what we do. And so I'm going to start with Kat, though. What separates you from the pack? What separates what you do as a titled person from the pack? Because there's a lot out there, just like there's a lot of private money people out there and a lot of traditional lenders out there. What separates you in your mind?
Well, I think it speaks volumes that I've been with the same company all this time, is because the company's been established for over 40 years. We have 2 underwriters. One is the largest in the nation. So we absolutely know what we're doing. Our staff is seasoned. I think our newest employee is like 8 years. I mean, we are seasoned staff, right? So and same owner all these years. So it makes a big difference. And we work together, meaning I am the director of business development, but I will never have a file that comes in that I don't touch. We are all trained to touch every single file so that if anybody contacts us, it's not, hey, wait, I'm going to let so-and-so get back with you. Right? Yeah. So that's important. That's open communication. That's timeliness, which is always a factor in these deals. So I think that's the big one. And you're always going to see this face. It's not going to change every year or every 2 years. Right? So, which a lot of companies do, and there's reasons for that. But Mortgagee Title is status quo all the time.
Love it. I love that. Yeah, I think people like consistency, stability, experience, and that is a big deal in this market where there's a lot of crazy people in all of our industries.
And if you forget any of that, just look up #Title Queen. You'll remember.
She got that hashtag in. I know.
Branding that stuff is important.
How about you, Derek?
Ted, we talk about it all the time, and I was blessed to come into the business under some great mentors in my previous, time. And I've learned just being honest, having the integrity. I am a believer. So I have that. I have the big guy looking over me, man. I can't play around. I have it, I just don't play around. And so I want to always be transparent and honest. I think the biggest thing about us as a brokerage and then a hard money broker is I'm going to tell you the truth about your deal up front. And I probably lose deals more than, more often maybe others, because I don't do the bait and switch. 10% is not going to work. You're going to be at 20% down. Here's why. I've analyzed this thing. I looked at it. I am a broker. I can tell what your ARV is going to be. I have my contractors behind me. No one really knows this, but I just launched a contracting company with a partner of mine, GC. I had them look at everything. Your numbers don't make sense. I can give you more insight. So I'm not just one of these big hedge funds that want to bring the deal in. We're going to go ahead and run it, and then when we get appraisal, readjust everything. I learned earlier on to analyze it up front and just give it to you straight. And if you appreciate that, we're going to go forward. If not, then I'm not your guy. So I like to be, honest, integral about what I'm doing. If I can close this deal, I'm going to fight for it. If I can't, I let it go. I don't just play around with you, and then 2 weeks later you're pissed off because you can't close. That's not me. So
that's good. Well, actually, that's great.
Yeah, and I'm one of you. I am an investor. Like, I know what it feels like. I'm held up in litigation on this flip that I had. I should have it listed right now. I should be listed. Instead, I'm going through litigation over an unlawful detainer because I let my heart get in the way. I let a woman stay in this property longer, and I should have never closed with her in it. But I broke rule, right? Because I wanted to be the nice guy. You have a 6-year-old, you got a baby. I love the babies, and now it's hurting me too. A month later, and I should have been done in this flip. So I know what it is. I feel the aches and pains, and I try to just be, real.
And you both are. I think that those are both great, because I think the experience, the consistency, Derek and I talk about this a lot, and Kat and I too, communication.
Yeah.
God, communication. I just want to drum it into people's heads how important that is, and how it can, I don't care how amazing your products and services are, if your communication sucks, nobody's going to want to do business with you, because they feel completely left out, as if they're not important, that nobody wants to be blindsided. So from my perspective, my biggest pet peeve is communication. I've probably talked ad nauseum about that with both of you over cocktails. Yeah. I just feel like it's so important in our industry, and it makes or breaks deals. When I'm talking to a realtor, I want to be ahead of the game. I don't want them to call me and me get blindsided.
And they're telling you something. I
want
to be on top of it. I'm very hands-on. Like, I don't want anyone in the situation to know more than me. Like, I have to. No. Service. It's service.
And I'll tell you another thing that you kind of hit on was disclose. Yeah, I learned this a long time ago. Disclose, right? No matter if it's from the lending side, the title side, a realtor. If you don't disclose, there's a good chance that something could blow up, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's worse, because you invest your time, and with you, Derek, you invest money, and it's your reputation. So don't take on a deal, even in title. I'm not going to take on a deal that I know is maybe an area that I'm not comfortable with.
Yeah.
The arrangement of the deal. I'm very vocal about it. Okay, these are the things we can do. These are the things we cannot do. And this is why we cannot do them, not just we're not. So disclose, let people know how you work. They can let you, the same with them. They'll tell you, and then you can figure out if you pass on it, or okay, we've got this. We're going to be able to take this to closing.
Correct.
I think I love that, Kat. I think being, we're all commission based, right? I don't think anybody's salary. And if you are, God bless it. But even at the end of the day, we still want those commissions. And I think I learned to, and this is just recently, this is with Carmichael International. I've learned that every deal is not my deal, even if it's a good deal. So kind of piggybacking on what you said, I've learned to let go of a commission and say, I might not like this investor, and this guy's a headache, or this girl, it's not a pleasant transaction. Let someone else have that. I'd rather be at peace. That's another thing that I've learned, and it keeps me happy every day. I kind of feel like I'm not retired, right? I'm not making millions of dollars, but man, I've been walking around really like happy about what I do. Even if deals are on fire, Ted, you know what I'm talking about. We're fighting to put fires out, but I have a smile on my face. I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I think that's the other side too. Is I'm not greedy, and I can say, all right, man, we're gonna let this one go.
I'm sorry. Do you see the fire behind me? Because I got two right now on my desk. There.
On a daily basis, I'm never sure how many text messages I'm going to get. Hey Ted. But that's what we do best. Like we are problem solvers.
Yeah.
We want to figure out the solution. If we've taken on the client, we're going to figure out the solution. And we're not burying our heads if it's not good news. So I think the communication, the consistency, and knowing your products and services is a big, huge deal. And so, all right. So Kat, see how fast that goes? What is the best way they can find out more about the one and only Kat Brower?
I'm kind of old school, so you can call me. I love phone calls. I know that's rare, but I do. 407-325-4434, or the email is kat@mortgagee with 2 E's title.com. Or hashtag Title Queen. I'll pop up.
Hashtag Title Queen.
I'm going to Instagram right after this to hashtag Title Queen.
You're going to have to. I'll put it in the post too. Derek, how about you?
You guys already know you can catch me on Instagram. I'm very much a millennial. You can call me. You can text me 407-731-0215. I will be there. Let's chat it up.
All right. And you can find all of those websites scrolling across the bottom there. Thank you both so much for this week. It was informative. I learned something new every day, especially since I'm in the industry. You would think I wouldn't, but y'all are great. Love you both. We'll see you guys soon back on Invest.